Well, hi, I'm Jay Arthur, author of Lean Six Sigma Demystified and QI Macros. A customer recently asked me, on one of my QI Macros webinars, Jay, how do I know what kind of chart I should use? Well, it's pretty simple. If you have what is known as time series data, that means time runs along this way, so it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's time, right? Then you need, it's going to be a line chart. Now, more often, you're going to want to have at least a run chart, and if you're really smart, you'll use a smart chart, like a control chart. Now, far too often I see people using bar charts to depict time series data. Bad, okay? It doesn't tell you anything. And you usually end up with bars that are really tall and a little tiny variation at the top. Not good. Don't use bar charts for time series data. What do we use bar charts for? Categories. Categories. All right, so we might have and I most often use a Pareto chart. And so the big bar of the Pareto chart is something that is causing most of the problems. One of my examples is folded flaps. And then there's bent flaps. And then there's a carton will not open. Those are types of defects, categories, right? So what you want to do is use the Pareto chart, which is a combination of a bar chart and a cumulative line graph, to display that kinds of information. Because I will tell you, every problem out there has a Pareto pattern to it. Every type of problem, right? Defects, mistakes, errors, transactional things. And most of us work in service industries, and that's the kind of problem you have. Now, there's one other thing that you need, and that's if you're measuring something where you're producing a widget, and the widgets, can be too big, too small, too fat, too thin, too big, too long, or you're measuring something like cycle time where you're trying to reduce cycle time. That means you have to get those combined and look at them, and that will give you a histogram. So, we're going to see little bumpies here, but what you'll see is the infamous bell-shaped curve. And there'll be bars within there. But that tells you about the dispersion, the variation, or I call it deviation in your data. So that's it, right? If you're measuring stuff, could be cycle time, could be piston diameters, it could be, density or porosity of some material, or viscosity of some type of lubricating fluid, or whatever it is. Histogram. This is a histogram. If you're measuring categories, use a Pareto chart, right? Because that's going to give you a clear indication of what you should work on. The big bar in here. Not all the little bars, the big bar. And then you want to be able to track how you're doing over time. So is our process stable, predictable, and whatever? And to do that, you're going to use a control chart. All right, so here's our control chart. And over there's our Pareto. And histogram. Those are the three main kinds of charts you're going to use. Now you can vary off of that once you learn these. But learn these first. I'm Jay Arthur. That's my Ask Jay question for the week. And I encourage you, go out and improve something this week.